Well, Coach, thanks so much for the time. We're back here at the Combine. They call this the off-season, but there really hasn't been much of an off-season. New GM, new contract for you, new offensive coordinator, new quarterback in the sense that you're going all in with Lamar. How fun has the last few months been for you?
It's been great. You know, I get asked by friends and family sometimes, have you gotten away?
Right.
It's like, no, not really.
For a couple hours.
Yeah, but it's been great. I mean, it's just like you said, there's been so much going on. It's just fun being at the Combine. We're up there with the scouts right now, having a great time, and because we love football. We love looking at these guys. We know the players from tape, and at least I know some of them. They know all of them. So asking questions and just throwing, draft talk around.
Yeah.
I guess that's how we have a good time.
Right. So draft talk, I mean, one guy obviously who was here last year was Lamar Jackson.
Right.
And I'm curious what you thought watching him last year. Like, did you feel like, you know what, we could get this guy?
Yeah, you did. It was just, it's kind of funny because, it's a broad deal. You got a bunch of guys. It's like a big basket of players. You're kind of getting snapshots and taking notes of different guys here and there. And, we knew all about him. He just jumped out, and you're basically watching him and say, okay, how does he compare to the other guys? How does he look? And he looked really good, but I didn't really think at that moment, well, I think we're going to get Lamar Jackson. He's going to be our quarterback. That wasn't really the thought. It was more comparing him to the other guys and just getting a feel for people. And then all of a sudden, 3 months later, he's on our team.
And it's a lot of fun. So you're going through the process right now with your offensive staff of kind of rebuilding this offense. You've talked about sort of building it from the ground up. Is it fun as you're going through that process? Because you're sort of zigging when everyone else is zagging. You're doing things a little bit not the conventional way compared to a lot of other teams. Is that enjoyable that it's a different type of process?
It is. It's really enjoyable. It's really stimulating, man. It's really something that kind of gets you going, gets you fired up, gets the hair in the back of your neck standing up.
Yeah.
It's like, what can we do different? How can we set the world on fire? What can we do to be something that people haven't seen before? I mean, that's what you want to do. You want to leave a mark. We want to make a mark. We want to do something that hasn't been done, and I feel like we have the guys to do it. According to good football fundamentals, to what we believe in. We believe in kind of basic football, in a lot of ways. So I'm looking forward to it.
One way that you obviously want to play is have a great running game.
Yep.
You had that in the second half of last season. One way to have a great running game is to have a great offensive line.
Yes.
What do you think of your offensive line right now? Is that an area where you could look to upgrade in the draft or free agency? What do you think of the group right now?
Well, I love them, and we can look to upgrade them. I think that goes hand in hand. It's not like mutually exclusive. You're never set. I mean, the world's moving at the speed of thought. We got to find a way to get better every single second. So any idea that we can come up with to improve, and it's not just about adding players. All that's part of it. It's about getting the current guys we have to be their very best. It's big, strong, physical, great footwork, all the things, healthy, smarter, create better schemes for those guys to give them an advantage where they can have angles and things like that. Taking advantage of the skill guys to make the line better. So all the things we can do, and you know what, it's going to be competitive. Mm-hmm. So our guys know that too. Our guys know we're going to go out and get the very best competition we can, throw them in there that fit our offense, and let the best let the chips fly, as we say.
Yeah.
The best 5 players are going to start in the offensive line. Period. The best 11 players are going to start on the offense, and that's just the best 53 are going to be on the team. And as far as I'm concerned, it's going to be whoever plays the best. Mm-hmm. And all the other little stuff that gets in there, whether it's contract stuff and all that, that's part of the reality of it. But in the end, you better play, man. You better be better than the guy you're competing against. So our guys, I promise you, are not afraid of competition. They expect that. That's the way we're built. That's what football's all about anyway. So I think competition makes everybody better.
There's going to be competition at wide receiver. You're going to have obviously some new guys there. What does an ideal receiver look like in this offense?
He's just good. He catches passes. He blocks. He gets yards after the catch. He can run jet sweeps and orbit reverses and things like that. I mean, he's a really good football player. We have a lot of conversations about that, and I think for me, what I came back to is I'll know him when I see him. Mm-hmm. When we watch him on tape, we'll know what he looks like. It doesn't have to be a certain size or a certain speed or a certain anything. He's just got to be a really good football player, and it could be a big, fast guy. It could be a smaller, quick guy. It could be a small, fast guy.
Right.
It could be a guy who's, the kid from Ole Miss. I mean, look at him.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
He's big and fast.
Yeah, right.
So his body weight was 1.7, so he's got some competition for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Right there.
That's what I'm going for. I don't look quite like him though. Not as much muscle packed on this frame.
No, that's true. But you know what? So we'll see. We'll see. I'm looking forward to it.
So your defense, obviously, you had the best defense in the league last year. Now you have a number of free agents: C.J. Mosley, Darius Smith, Terrell Suggs. You have a bunch of questions, kind of uncertain what's going to happen there. How do you kind of view that? And I'm sure you want to keep everybody, but you don't necessarily know how it's going to play out. How do you sort of view the defense knowing the uncertainty that's unfolding?
I guess just recognize the uncertainty. One thing I've learned about being a head coach in this league is that you have to be patient. And that's the hardest thing to do. You want your roster set up. I want to know who the players are going to be and who's going to be where. It's just impossible. You know, the fans probably feel the same way. You can get frustrated. You can want to know what's going on, and I feel that way. It's like, what are we doing?
Right.
Who are we talking to? What's the agent saying? You know, does he really want to be here? Of course he wants to be here. You know, we want him here. You know, all those things that we know, but there's still a process that has to play out, and it's a business type process. And as a coach, I've just got to respect that. You know, and let everybody do their jobs, and then see where we're at. You know, when the thing is all done.
I'll let you out of here on this one. Through all your years of coming here to the Combine, you go through the interviews, you watch the workouts. If you could boil it down, this is tough, but in a kind of a sentence, what makes a great college player a great pro player?
Wow, that is a tough one, because that is the whole essence of what we're trying to do here. And I think for me, it's you try to figure out, what he does. First of all, if he doesn't do it in college, it's like, what makes you think he's going to do it in the NFL? Right. So start with that. Then if he doesn't have the basic fundamental athletic size, speed, talent, it's hard to transfer. But those two things, if he has those two things, then you still have a third question. It's going to be, will what he does transfer to the NFL? And for me, what I try to do is watch the player play and picture him in the NFL game, and see if I can take what he's doing in college and transfer it in my mind, in my imagination, to the NFL game as much as possible. And just try to make your best guess. You know, it's like was it Malcolm Gladwell and Blink?
Yes.
You know, through all the experience, you know, hopefully you trust your instincts a little bit, or maybe it's your accumulated experience and knowledge and things like that, what you've seen before. Trust your eye, and say, okay, I do believe this guy's going to do what he does in college in the NFL. And then you get there and you find out. And that's why it's always going to be a little bit of that until you see a guy do it actually for real in our league.
Awesome. Well, Coach, we look forward to you finding some of those guys.
Yes, sir.
Some of the great ones this year. Thanks so much for the time.
Thanks, Garrett. Enjoy it.
Absolutely.
Enjoy it. Yeah.